This is from the Petty Corner. I'm Petty Diana, and today I have Aaron the Colossus Turner here with me. He is coming off a win in Power Slap 14. Welcome back to the Petty Corner, Aaron.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
Of course, you know you're always welcome here, my personal bodyguard.
There you go. There you go. We got it right.
Yes. Okay, so Power Slap 14 was crazy. First time in New Orleans, first time leaving Vegas stateside, and you were supposed to go against Nate Bernard. Last minute change up, day of, they switched matches around. Nate unfortunately got sick, couldn't compete, and they put you against Ro Montana. So, what was that like for you mentally? Because you were preparing for Nate, and then all of a sudden you got a different opponent.
This has kind of happened before, so I'm kind of used to, change ups that happen. So I just mentally prepare myself. Power Stop 12, I was supposed to have James Seekman, and then in a 5 days notice, I'm taking on Wes Mena, and then now it's, Nate last minute, 12-hour notice. I'm going against Ro Montoya. So I was just honestly just preparing myself to the best of my knowledge. And, I'm always someone that's going to compete. So I always appreciate Power Slap making it work. They like me. They like that I perform, and they always want me on the card. So I was glad things were able to work out. So I was pleased with the performance that I had. Kind of wish I got the knockout, but I'll take the win.
Yes, I love it. But, you know, last time you had 5 days, so there was like more time in between, but was like day of.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you? Did you have to like change your technique and like practice differently because maybe their height difference or, the unknowns because it was his Rose's first time competing at heavyweight?
Honestly, the only preparation that I really did was kind of watching some film, seeing the way that he slaps, see the way that he took the slaps, and from his last match, he won by disqualification. It was mostly just because the strikes from Zach were coming up here, up to his temple right here. So I definitely knew that I needed to test his chin to see if he really had it in him, and he did. He obviously performed very well. He took the shots very well. I think most people that heard the shots and saw the way that I was locating my shots, it was on point, and he was honestly just taking them very, very well. So I think the only preparation for me was just so much watching this film and my training camp. I've worked on going against people that are 6'6", 6 foot, just to prepare myself for the what if factor. So since Power Slap 12, that's definitely something that I did that I wish I kind of did beforehand. So that's kind of something that I implement in my trainings. Like if I'm going to face someone at 6'6" or 6 foot, I just stay prepared.
I love it. Yeah. So I feel like maybe the first time when the James match didn't happen, it kind of like prepared you to be prepared for a last minute change up.
Exactly, yeah, and those are big differences too with height. James Seekman 6'4", Wes Mena 6 foot, and then obviously Nate Bernard 6'5", and then Bro is obviously 6 foot. So I mean, it's just a little bit of difference that I definitely like prepare myself more of since Power Stop 12. So it's all about a learning curve.
Yeah. Okay, so Ro has a wrestling background. He comes out dancing. He's got a whole performance, and I have to ask you about this because you were like, being petty and
Hmm.
kind of like showboating. Like anytime you would
Hmm.
eat a slap from him, you would start dancing, or when you would slap him.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, was that just you being petty, or is that just kind of like in the moment type thing?
A little bit of both. I mean, I think you know me. I can get a little petty sometimes, depending on my opponent. That's just the way Ro is. He's an entertainer. He really gets the crowd going, which I really like. And that's just his personality, how it is. I mean, for me, like I like to be loud, I like to be mean. And for him, he just likes to get involved with the crowd. So the way he was doing it, taking my slaps first time at having, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna come back 10 times harder, and I'm gonna do what you do. So I try to get in their head a little bit. You're thinking the dance is going to really affect me, but guess what? I could do it 10 times better. So, I thought I could bust a move a little bit of dancing, and the crowd loved it. They loved the match overall. They liked the personalities, I think, that were going on with the match, and I think we really put on a good show, and it really showed in the views for Instagram, TikTok, all that.
No, yeah, it did. And what I love is that, in person, you are like the most respectful, nice human being
Mhm.
ever, so humble. But then when you get on stage, it's like you have this switch that you flip on and you're like a completely different person.
Yeah, I've had that since my athletic background, since growing up. Like I've always like felt like the way I was raised is like you be nice to people, and then as soon as you get in between the lines, you have to flip the script a little bit. That's just the way it is. Because I mean, I'm here to win. I'm here to take your head off, and Roan knew that before the match that he has the same intentions as well. He's here to take my head off. He's here to make his money. He's working his way up the ranks. So I mean, we're both there for the same reasons.
Yeah. Did you and Ro like talk beforehand, just in the hotel or just around town or anything? Like, did you know who he was besides, seeing his last match?
I knew of him a little bit. We didn't really talk or anything like that. We've actually talked a lot more, since after the match. We've talked almost every day. So, it's really like good to know that he's a good dude, good character dude. Off stage and on stage, he was definitely a fun dude to compete with because he took it serious. He didn't take it as a joke. For me, it's just so much since going into Power Slap 13. We had the whole training camp of wrestlers. So we just most of the guys on the roster thought it was going to be a gimmick and think the wrestlers won't take it serious by any means. But it's good to know that they are taking it serious, and he's definitely someone that takes this sport very serious. So that's something I fully respect from Ro, and just his character and the way that he is and the way that he carries himself. He performed very very well.
Yes. And he brings the energy.
He
But
does. He
yeah,
definitely does.
but a lot of the wrestlers, not a lot, but like all of them are really taking it serious because I think when it first got announced, like there was a whole training camp of wrestlers. There was a lot of people kind of scratching their heads, like, "What are we doing here?"
Exactly.
But they understand the entertainment aspect because that's what they do in wrestling. But
Hmm.
this is a sport, and they also understand that. And a lot of them are not even using their like wrestling personas in this, and they're
Hmm.
just taking it seriously as a sport. So I love to see that.
Hmm.
And he actually had like a challenge himself because his first match was at super heavyweight, and then he moved down to heavyweight, and he was supposed to face Cody,
Hmm.
right, Big Bird,
Hmm.
and then he had the last minute change up as well. So there were some challenges that he had to face too. So
No, exactly. And the way, and to do that such last minute and perform the way he did on a big stage, and especially higher up position on the cards, like you gotta tip your hat off to him and kind of give him his flowers. So I definitely give him that mutual respect that he did that. So full respect to Ro for doing that.
yeah, no, I love to see it. Okay, so Nate obviously got sick and couldn't compete,
Hmm.
but I still feel like that match has to happen. But what do you feel like has to happen next for you?
For me, I'm hoping that some of those matches that I could have had, with the potential to move up, going against top 10, top five guys, the highest dude I've gone against was Brian Ellis, and then I got Wes Mena, wasn't a top five guy, but he was number six, and he drastically moved up and got a championship title belt. Um, I would definitely love to go against Nate. I think that's the match that's destined to be. I think you'd have to be crazy not to have that match happen. It's almost just like canceling Isaiah versus Brandon. You got to have that match. You got to have that trilogy. And I think with me and Nate, we could possibly have that down the road. But I think we have to take it one match at a time. So if it's not him, I personally would like to go against Wes Mena again. I think I need to get my redemption for my loss. My last pick would be Zakir. I think Zakir has a lot of followers. He brings a lot to the sport. A lot of guys in the heavyweight division aren't really liking him right now, just due to his strike, the way that he is. But he won by a clean slap, what it looked like, and I definitely like to shut that down, kind of shut down that momentum that he has going on. He's a big, strong dude, but also I'm also a big, strong. So I think that can also make for a really good matchup. We have the same record. We're both 2-1. Why not?
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. I've been wanting to see you and Nate. I would love to see you and Wes again. Because there was a couple fouls there. You look like you cleaned it up a lot better this time. There
Hmm.
was just one flinch. It was just a warning.
Hmm.
I was actually surprised. I think it was during Chiefs match that like Chief flinched and like Darren flinched. They didn't call it, and then Chief flinched and they gave him a point on like right away, which we've
Yeah,
never seen before. Like
yeah.
normally they'll do a warning and then a point.
Mhm.
So that was kind of wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zakir, he's climbing the ranks, and I do have to ask you about this because you did post on social media about the rankings, and you said now I feel like it's personal. When I had first talked to you, because you had beat Brian Ellis, and I think he was number 4 at the time,
He
and you,
was.
you knocked him out. They didn't even put you on the rankings.
Hmm.
And did they keep you the same rankings as the last rankings that came out?
Number seven, yes, I'm still sitting on number seven.
Okay, but then they moved Zakir up even more. They put
Yeah.
Rowe on the rankings. Um, So, why do you feel like it was personal, and where do you feel like you should be placed?
The more that I think about it, I could understand why they kept me at number seven. I want to get some unranked guy. I didn't knock him out. I won by unanimous decision, but I didn't knock him out, and I think that's why they're putting me there. I also think it's kind of the Nate Bernard effect because when he won his first two matches, they moved him up
Hmm.
drastically. but then he started losing some matches. So I think they really want to test me, or they're maybe overlooking me. I firmly believe I should have that number 6 spot. That's the Zakir was, because I feel like my last 2 matches were canceled and they're top 5 guys. Yes, I understand Wes Meno was number 6, but you're putting me in these matches that I could have chosen to be like, no, I don't want them. But I chose them because personally, I'm just a fighter. I'm going to compete no matter who it is. I don't fear anybody. Easy to say when you're 6'7", but again, I don't fear nobody. So I just think I've been a good soldier for Power Slap for quite some time that I feel like I deserve my flowers just a little bit more. So I can kind of understand being in number 7. I'm so grateful to be in the top 10, but I think I should have moved up a spot at least.
Yeah. No, that's understandable. I can understand like frustration there too because you were so humble in the first one. You're like, I understand why I'm not in the
Hmm.
rankings, and then
Hmm.
now all of a sudden you see like guys just like throwing up the rankings. It's like,
Right.
well, maybe like since I knocked out the 4, I should have been the 4.
Yeah, exactly. No, I definitely agree.
Yeah, okay. So there was 3 other heavyweight matches on the card. One was the early prelims or like their pre-recordings, but they did show the results of that online so we can talk about them. So I just kind of wanted to get your opinions on those matches.
Okay.
And we'll start with the pre-recordings. It was Darius the Destroyer, who is a complete OG legend of
Hmm.
slap fighting, versus James Stonier. He ended up getting the knockout. What did you think of that? I don't believe they showed like the full match yet, but
Hmm.
Darius kind of had like a rough start coming into
Hmm.
Power Slap after being like the legend that he was in his previous organization.
I mean, I've watched Darius, ever since, Flat Fighting Championships was going on, then Power Slap. So you gotta give him his flowers. He's a legend. I think people are really overlooking him. Just he had a little bit of a rocky start getting into Power Slap, and I think that knockout from James, kind of just cements the way that he is, and like not disrespect his legacy whatsoever. But I think this is kind of like his redemption, kind of like mine. He's back on the rankings. He's right underneath me by 1 spot. So I think the more matches that he has, and he's just getting better as it is. He keeps getting better and better each match. I think he understands that there are a lot better athletes now. So I think for him to have that challenges, he's really overcome those. James is definitely not someone to look past. He also has some experience. I'd just like to see Darius, continue to take all these ranked fighters and see how he does. So I'm excited for
Yeah. And I felt like he felt disrespected going into this match
him.
because after he knocked him out, I don't know if you saw in the clip, but he said, "That's why you don't take me off the rankings."
Yeah, he's definitely being overlooked for how he is. Again, he's a legend. You definitely don't want to look over a guy like him. That's definitely a dangerous guy you gotta look out for. So I got full respect for Darius. I'm happy for him. I'm glad he performed the way that he did. He's back on the rankings.
Yeah. So we need to see him on a live card next
We
time.
do, we do, we do.
Okay. And then we had Cooper Housley and Zakir.
Hmm.
What did you think of their match?
Love both guys. I got to know Zakir a little bit. Got to talk with him a little bit. Good dude overall, and I love Cooper. Uh, it's kind of a tough call. Like I think Zakir did do better with how his slap went, and we talked with him about it backstage. Like, hey, you kind of put your palm into it and you push. You can't do that. You gotta have a straight hand. You gotta slap. I think the slap was good, but the placement might have been just a little bit off. It's very controversial, but they called it and they called it a W, so they gave him the win. You can't really change that now. I think now just for him, I think he needs to continue to take guys that are ranked. And I think I should be the first one in line to go against Secure because I haven't been stubbled, haven't been put down. I want somebody to put me down. As crazy as it sounds, it's one of those things where it's like, I want to see that happen, But again, like, I'm also here to deliver some power on you. So I think that's definitely a match destined to be as well. So I hope it's either me or someone in the top 5 that he gets to go against.
Yeah. Now, that would be a great matchup, but I still do want to see you and Nate. So it's like
Without a
since day
doubt.
one.
That's like number one. Like that has to happen. Like the next heavyweight card, they got to be like that has to be up for debate. Me and Nate, absolutely. Like we both have the size. We both, have the strength. Like it's a must see match.
Yeah. So there is October. There are 2 cards that have
Mhm.
been announced by the organization and the president. October 3rd is Power Slap 15, and then October 24th they are going back to Abu Dhabi.
Mhm.
UFC is going to Abu Dhabi October 25th. Which card would you like to compete on?
I would love to go to Abu Dhabi. I'd definitely like to go international just to say that that I got to compete in a combat sport overseas. That would be bittersweet for me. But if it's Vegas, I won't be upset by it because any card I'd love to be a part of. I love Vegas. It's like my backyard, basically. I feel comfortable there. I feel good there. I got people there. But I would love to go overseas and compete internationally. And I think if they do that, they got to put me in secure. If it isn't, I definitely love to go get State. That's like my number one part on my list of my Christmas present that I want. I want Nate Bernard. If I don't get that, I want Secure in my stocking. So we'll see what we can get, what we can cook up.
I love it. I
Yeah.
mean, this is like complete and utter speculation, but the UFC did announce that they are going to Qatar in
Hmm.
November.
Wow.
So I would love to see a power slap there.
Hmm.
My husband on his deployment, he spent some time in Qatar and he said it was beautiful. So I think,
Hmm.
and this will be the first time the UFC is going there. So I think
Hmm.
that'd be another great place, like Abu Dhabi. So that would be cool. Maybe they'll get you on October, and then if they ever do go to Qatar,
Hmm.
November, like that's enough time. Because I feel like maybe if you do Vegas and
Hmm.
then Abu Dhabi, if that might
Yeah.
be too close, or you can do Abu Dhabi and Qatar.
Yep.
I don't
Just
know. We'll see.
one match at a time. Got to perform well and see what I can do.
Yeah. No, I love it. Is there anything else that you want to say to your fans or the public or anyone in Power Slap? Any striker?
Um, New Orleans was great. I definitely love the fans out there. I feel like I really got to connect with a lot of people. I'm really into community engagement, so I want to say thank you to the fans for supporting myself, for supporting the strikers and Power Slap. Without this platform, you guys, honestly, I don't know where we'd be at. So we appreciate you guys, the hospitality, everything you guys have done for us. Nate, we're gonna have our match. Love Nate. Love the character that he is, the person that he is. He's a down to earth person. Got nothing but respect for him. So I'm definitely looking forward to our match. It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. There's nothing else to get across from that. It's gotta
Yes. And I co sign on that.
happen. Absolutely.
But I will say, Power Slap 14, like I liked it so much better than any event that I've been to in Vegas. And I feel like
Oh
every
yeah.
single time that I go to a Power Slap event, I was like, oh, that's the best event. That was the best event. That was,
Hmm.
but like, aside from like you guys performing, the crowd in New Orleans was unlike any other Power Slap event I've been to. Like they were
Hmm.
so into it. Like I was talking to the fans that were just around, and it was their first time ever seeing it live. They were so into it. They were
Hmm.
like, "Boo!" or like,
Right.
"Nah, he flinched." Like, go again. Like,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
they were so into it. I was like, where did all these
Yeah.
slap fans come from? But it was so awesome, and just the arena alone, like it, like the I don't know, they need to be in arenas. I think the Fontaine Blue is amazing, but
Hmm.
I would really like to see them be in more arenas.
Yeah, this arena was definitely nice. It was definitely a college arena, so it was great. The setup was great. The fans were great too. Like you said, there's a lot of boos and stuff like that. Everybody's cheering around. Everybody's booing me for a little bit, and then eventually they saw us dancing. They started cheering us on. I love it. I definitely love the energy, and we definitely got to be back in New Orleans. So I think just the more we go to different states, different areas, I think every single event, every single card is going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. Well, Aaron, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing who they match you up with next and what's to come for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Penny. It's always an honor to be on your platform, and it's always an honor to be a part of it. So appreciate it.
Yes. I'll see you next time.
All right, thank you.
Bye.